Looking at different primary elections that have taken place around the country up until at least last Tuesday, you saw a different kind of energy. One, just based on the candidates that were running, and we're seeing more candidates that are reflective of the United States of America. And I talked about this a lot after the 2018 election because so many people won races, and people would consider those folks to not be your typical candidates. But when you look around, they're the most typical Americans, and people are just used to having a representative democracy that doesn't always reflect the vote in public. But that's changing, and hopefully, as primaries transition into general elections, that same energy is maintained or increased so that we have a huge turnout. But making sure that elections are done safely, because we are still in the middle of the pandemic. Who knows when there will be a vaccine for COVID-19? So with that being said, it's important for us in our respective states to make sure that there are safeguards and other voting options that are made possible to make voting as accessible as possible.
Absolutely. And to follow up on that, Mandela, one way that we make sure we get this right this time around is that we have to turn out, right? In 2016, I want to say only 59.6% of eligible Black voters showed up to the polls on that day. That's around 15 million, when the total number that should have showed up had been somewhere around 27 million. And the way that voter suppression works is that it relies on shaving off a couple of votes here and shaving off a couple of votes there. And next thing you know, you can sway an election. And I have to take note of what today is. Today, we celebrate the 7th anniversary of the Supreme Court ruling of Shelby County versus Holder, which stripped the heart out of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which provided a mechanism for the most insidious voting districts to have to get their vote changes or their voting changes pre-cleared by the federal government. So if these voting districts were to shorten polling hours or move a polling location from an HBCU to the local sheriff's office, the Department of Justice would have to pre-clear that change before that change could take effect. Now, I alluded to this at the beginning, but you protect voting and you get voting right by participating in the process, right? If you vote the right people into office, they can make changes to further protect voting. Right now, pending in the House of Representatives, we have a bill to restore the Voting Rights Act, which was laid dormant 7 years ago. So the more people that we have who are like-minded and who are willing to take measures to protect the right to vote, we make sure we can get it right or even more right further down the line.